Welcome to Not Your Grandfather's Vlog. About a week ago, Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park, committed suicide at age 41 by hanging himself. A half a bottle of alcohol was found in the room where he was found, and police have ruled it a suicide. Why am I speaking about this? I don't know, I felt compelled that I needed to throw in my 2 cents on the whole matter, for a few different reasons. Now, whenever somebody dies, especially by suicide, there's a lot of people who come out of the woodwork and talk about how much that band or that artist meant to them in their life. Full disclosure, I've got to say, I didn't like Linkin Park at all. I didn't like their music. I didn't like their whole safe, family-friendly image. Now you say, how can you say that they're family-friendly? I feel like Linkin Park was a band that was put together by a record label. I feel like their looks were just an amalgam of what was popular in the early 2000s. If you go back to their first video, One Step Closer, you know, one of the guys had pink hair, Chester had some spiky hair, and it was meant to give off kind of this Asian kung fu kind of the East meets West kind of music, because, you know, they had this Asian DJ and their artwork was very Asian oriented, yet they had this kind of nu metal thing, so they were, kind of felt like they were trying to be everything to everybody. They were very mainstream, their sound was very mainstream. Yes, they did have screaming, yes, they did have heavy distorted guitars, but they didn't swear, they had a very squeaky clean image for the most part. You never saw any interviews where they were drunk or high or cursing up a storm or anything like that. They were a band that, if your parents didn't let you buy Korn or Limp Bizkit or Marilyn Manson, they would let you buy Linkin Park because there was no swearing, the lyrics were clean, generally positive lyrics. May I say, some of the most trite lyrics I've ever heard in my entire life. I always used to make fun of Linkin Park's lyrics because they were literally, this to me is Linkin Park's lyrics. I was trying to run away, but I found that all I was turning into you, but then I lost myself, so I kept running away only to find that I'd become what you wanted me to be, because the whole time I was you, but then I realized I was running from myself. That's like all their lyrics. Somebody is running from somebody else because they're afraid of becoming that person, but they realized all along they were them, and that they had turned into something else. They just horrible, god-awful lyrics, very boring, very trite. And just the sound was very pandering to like the most broad demographic possible. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of their music. I don't even think they started swearing until like their third album. Then they finally got brave enough to start dropping some F-bombs. Woo! So yeah, I didn't care for their music, you know. They never took any chances as far as I was concerned. Every album that came out had that Linkin Park sound, you know, that kind of hybrid techno futuristic Japanese sounding like rock and roll, like heavy rock sound. So, okay, we get it, Josh, you don't like Linkin Park. I didn't even realize, like, before I did this video, I did a little bit of research on Linkin Park's albums, their discography, all the albums they've released. I didn't even realize they've released like 4 or 5 albums since Minutes to Midnight, which was the last album that I remember them releasing. And you know, I'm willing to bet you're in the same boat. You didn't know that they had 4 or 5 albums that were released after Hybrid Theory and Meteora. The only 2 albums that anybody ever brings up when we're talking about Linkin Park. And that's also kind of my point about people coming out of the woodwork whenever somebody dies in a band or whatever, and they're sitting there saying, oh, I love Linkin Park or whatever. I guess what really bothered me though is all these shirts that I keep seeing on these Facebook advertisements that are being served up to me now because, you know, the automatic Facebook algorithm where every website is learning about your habits and your tastes without your knowledge or consent. So all of a sudden Linkin Park singer dies and I'm seeing all these Linkin Park memorial shirts all over Facebook, and they're all saying things like legend and, you know, this, that, and the other, and I'm like, ho, let's pump the brakes a little bit on the legend status there. They were by no means a legendary band. Linkin Park is a nostalgia trip for most people. You grew up listening to them in middle school. You grew up listening to them in high school. Whenever you think about Linkin Park, you think of their first two albums, and that's essentially it, barring some soundtrack stuff they might have done for the Transformers soundtrack. You know what I mean? Come on, that's the truth. I mean, you weren't into their shit after their first three albums. But back to the whole suicide thing. Suicide makes people act differently for different platforms like social media, in person, whatever it may be. It makes different people act different ways on different platforms, whatever. There are a lot of appropriate reactions like, man, it sucks he died, what a shame, you know, there needs to be more suicide awareness and talks about depression and stuff like that. And then there's the inappropriate reactions that just drive me crazy whenever somebody kills themselves. There are these, what I like to call edgelords, who want to prove just how edgy and just how much they don't play by society's rules by immediately posting the most insensitive, fucked up memes, jokes, and pictures about someone. And of course with a band that was kind of emo, kind of sad boy lyrics, the phrase, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Holy Christ, the amount of times I saw that posted on my Facebook. And let me just say to you people doing that, you're real pieces of shit. I mean, I really mean that. I mean, I think you are real pieces of fucking shit. I think you are immature little kids, okay? Alright, the guy just died. You have no personal connection to the band. Oh, so just for fun, let me just post some kind of meme about, you know, oh, what you doing there, Chester? Oh, nothing much, just hanging around, etc. These are kind of the memes that I've seen. You're an asshole, you know? You're an immature asshole, and you're trying to show everybody how edgy you are because, oh, look how short of a time I've waited for me to post this really fucked up, rude, insensitive meme. I don't play by society's rules. That's just how I am, you know? And that's how they want people to perceive them, as these, like, just edgy motherfuckers. Like 9/11 happens and someone's instantly making jokes about, you know, crashing into buildings and stuff. It's like, dude, a fucking time and a place for shit, man. People make Kurt Cobain jokes all the time about his suicide, about him shooting himself, whatever. They're kind of laughed at now. I mean, for fuck's sake, I've heard Holocaust jokes at this point that people generally giggle about. Comedy can embrace these tragedies to try to put some kind of a positive spin on it, but for fuck's sake, you gotta give it some time before you start busting out with all this stuff. Everybody gets over things over time, and they learn to develop a sense of humor about them because that's a coping mechanism. That's totally fine, that's totally human. But, you know, the guy's body isn't even cold yet, and you have people making these really inappropriate jokes to show everybody on their friends list how edgy they are, when really it just shows that you haven't grown up. You're still a little kid inside. You're a little kid who wants to be liked at the end of the day, because you wouldn't post stuff like that for any other reason. I would say at best, if you wanted to have some kind of reaction to this that wasn't, oh man, that sucks, suicide should be more, you know, talked about and prevented, just say that you don't care about his music and it doesn't affect you. I mean, at least then you're being honest and it's like, okay, whatever, that's respectable, you know? Because honestly, that was my reaction. I was like, damn, that sucks. Yet again, when you don't put money into mental health awareness and you don't talk about it, this is the kind of shit that happens. Not to say that spending money on mental health is a cure-all and suicides would just completely stop if that were to happen, but it would fucking help. But I mean, just don't have a yeah, that sucks, you know, I don't know. It's unfortunate. But to like go out of your way to post a meme about it, I don't know. The same shit happened with Prince, same shit happened with Chris Cornell. I just see these edgelords. They're so edgy, aren't they? They're just fucking immature pieces of shit. And when I see people post like that, it makes me not want to talk to them or have them on my friends list anymore, honestly. I think it's really rude, you know? I'm not saying that I've never made an inappropriate joke. I make inappropriate jokes all the time, but it's something called tactfulness and taste, you know what I mean? So then you have the people who are talking about how he abandoned his family and how they have no sympathy for him because he's a piece of shit, because he had a few kids and a wife and blah, blah, blah. And hey, good for you. You've never suffered from crippling, debilitating depression, because if you had, you would know that you don't stay the same person when you're depressed. You're completely different. You are not functioning on the same cognitive level that a healthy thinking person is functioning on. You are not yourself. It's like you know, when you get really drunk and you say a bunch of weird shit and you do a bunch of shit you would never think about doing when you were sober. Same thing with depression, but you don't get the goofy feeling of being drunk. You're thinking crazy shit, you're feeling crazy shit. It's really hard to see in the future that this is a temporary thing and things will get better. All you see is right in front of you, and that it's hopeless and it sucks. So for the people out there who are giving Chester shit for abandoning his kids and his family, again, congratulations to you for never ever having to suffer any kind of mental illness, or if you have suffered mental illness, being so, I guess, involved in your own mentality or your own mind that you can't begin to maybe step outside your own experiences and think, well, I could understand how this kind of thing could happen, as tragic as it is. So the whole thing's a tragedy. Again, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to be rocking a Linkin Park shirt in memorial of Chester. I definitely think that, you know, I'm always going to say that more time and money needs to be put into mental health. You know, the last vlog or the last sketch I did about the healthcare industry, it was meant to be a joke, but at the same time, it's deadly serious. It is so hard to get good health insurance to where you can talk to a good therapist who is not just in it for the money, who actually gives a shit. It's so hard to go in and talk to a doctor who will actually listen to you and give you the right medications instead of just throwing some pills at you and going, well, hope that works, you're on your own. I mean, you feel so alone in dealing with this stuff a lot of times. So when I did that healthcare skit, you know, it's like you really almost have to be a wealthy person, because yes, there are therapists. If you have, you know, through Obamacare or whatever, if you're able to get healthcare, yeah, you can see some therapists that might be covered under your plan. But I'll tell you what, right now, they are going to be the bottom of the barrel, the lowest rated, the poorest qualified therapists that you will ever talk to. These people are taking in large quantities of clients, probably not seeing many of them for second or third visits. They're just going in there for whatever reason. Maybe it's a court-ordered thing or whatever. These people are so burnt out by the system that they aren't even, like, able to help you. So it's rough, you know. It's a really hard thing, you know. Our healthcare system is really fucked up, and it doesn't surprise me that people would find it easier to just take themselves out than go through all the fucking hassle and rigmarole of trying to talk to somebody, you know, and get the help that they need. It's not fucking easy, especially for people who aren't wealthy. So anyway, that's my vlog on this very dour, depressing topic. I myself am in a slightly dour, depressed mood because I've had some pretty awesome insomnia for the past week and a half. Just one night, I couldn't go to sleep. The whole night, I slept maybe 2 hours, and then I slept good the next day. But then the day after that, I started getting in my head about, oh shit, what if I can't sleep again? And I didn't. That day, I didn't sleep the whole entire night. And it's been like that, this checkerboard, all this whole time, this whole week. One night I sleep good, next night I sleep shitty. One night I sleep good, next night I sleep shitty. And so last night I slept shitty, so not a lot of sleep for me. Haven't had insomnia in about 15 years. So I think it's this new anti-anxiety medication I've been taking for the past 3 or 4 weeks called Buspar. I'm tapering off that shit because that is the only variable in my life that has changed in the past week. And I want to do that whole vlog, I think, over again because now... So sorry if I seem a little lifeless, a little tired today. It's because I fucking am. I can't help it. I'm sure I'll, you know, snap out of this shit after a few more days or so, hopefully. But yeah, that's my vlog for this week. More happy, positive shit will be coming, but I don't know. I just felt like I needed to throw my 2 cents in here because I don't know. For some reason, this seems like it was more of a controversial suicide than the others. And then there's this whole angle about how he was murdered. Him and Chris Cornell were murdered because they were trying to they were gonna go public about some pedophile ring. I don't know what any of that shit's about, but it's probably bullshit. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you for watching.